looks like it's working. How peculiar. How peculiar. Have we got any sound, guys? Have we got any sound? Something weird is going on. Hello, hello. Good. Sorry about that, guys. I was literally sitting here getting myself ready, and then the spinning wheel of death appeared, and on my screen all the video had stopped and all the audio had stopped. So anyway, great. I'm really glad that we're all here and it appears to be working. Hello everybody. It still blows me away looking at all of you from everywhere. Hello Sherry from Alabama, and you have any idea what a feeling it is when I come in here, an hour early and kind of set it all up, and hopefully it'll all work. But then, seeing you guys waiting and hanging out and having a chat, it is really completely amazing. It still is. It's incredible. Thank you very much for being here. Is the sound okay? Just give me a little. Is the sound okay? Just let me know. I just want to make sure, because I was having that. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Delarice. Thank you, everybody. I was literally sitting here thinking, do I shut it down and start again? Do I risk it? I'm so glad we risked it. Good stuff. How amazing to see you all again. Thank you so much for coming to another Photography Lockdown Creative Challenge live feedback session. If you've just stumbled across this, Photography Lockdown is a series of creative challenges, and this is a live feedback session. I've got my notes over here. Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's making little monthly donations. We all owe you a debt of gratitude because you guys are keeping this going. I was chatting to Emma and the guys today, and we just said, I wonder how much time we actually do spend. So we've started a little log to find out. But you know what? I'm betting on around about 40 hours for each PLD. It's even at 10 quid an hour, that's quite a lot of wages to find twice a month. So you guys who are making little donations, really, you're superheroes. Thank you very much. We all owe you one. We truly do. I'd like to give Helen Martin and Wes Wheeler a big shout out. You guys have just made a more than average contribution. We will owe you one. Thank you. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link below where you can sign up, and if you leave us the cost of a takeaway coffee a month, it'll all be safe, it'll all be good, and we can make it even better. What have I got here? We've got some amazing images, as always, from the sublime to the, truly creative and courageous attempts from, you guys that are at the beginning of your journey. Don't ever think you're not good enough to give it a go just because there are some very good photographers within the group. We all have to begin somewhere. We all have to give it a go. And the way we flex and grow our creative muscles is by getting out there and giving it a go, making it hurt a little bit. If you're just here because you want to get the likes and the thumbs up and stuff, it's not the best place to come from. Shoot your pictures from a place of just being proud that you did the best you could with the knowledge that you have now, and just be happy with yourself, because I promise you it will help your photography on a long way than if you're stumbling, wondering what other people will think about it. I've got a quick news flash for you before we get going. I am currently working on another new webinar, the Photo Alchemy webinar, which is all about how we take the technical side of photography and then blend it with the creative, because there is a bridge to be had between the two. I always think photography is kind of in two places, and the two places, as ever, are holistic. They dance together. There is the technical things which make the creative things happen in reality. You sort of have two hats. You have your artist's hat and you have your technician's hat. Anyway, I'm working on that. We'll let you know when that's available, as well as reruns of the other webinars. Those you guys who came on the last one, choreography of composition, thank you. You blew me away. It sold out all 150 places, I think, in 4 days. I never imagined they would be so popular. Keep an eye on the website, Facebook page, and in the group. and in the free tips newsletter we'll let you know. Now I have a little announcement just before we begin about the next challenge, because you guys have all had me as your judge for quite a long time. In the early days of PLD, you know, we were getting guests in, we had all sorts of tech issues and, you know, arguments about whether the judge was a good judge or not, and I've kind of been doing it since. But you kind of know the sort of things I like, so I thought it would be a good idea to mix it up a bit and have some guest judges back. And what we're going to do is you are the judges for the next challenge. So please make sure you check inside the challenge album over the next challenge and click in some, you know, some likes. Your like is a vote now, and you guys are the judges for the next challenge. I'll still do some feedback on images that catch my eye, and of course I will, you know, give feedback on the winning images, which you guys are going to choose. You are the judges for the next challenge. Otherwise, it will all look the same. Seppo says, bring it on. I will. Sorry, Bear Clive. Yes, it was a bit early. I thought we were going to have a tech issue, and therefore I thought I'd better get going a little bit early, just in case. So, how exciting. You guys are the judges. I will remind you again at the end for those people who pop in a little later. Just check my notes, see if there's anything else I need to say to you. I don't think there is, so why don't we get stuck in to your gorgeous photos. Let's see what we have. I haven't mixed my next shot in time, so I am a numpty. Let's just take that one off of there and put me down there. Apologies. Here we go. So, Brian, I love this shot. Forgive me, I know I'm looking over there. It's because it's easy for me to see it on the other monitor. I think it's a really great shot. It's a really great way of capturing movement, you know. I had just one thought about it, and that is the handle of the glass, because technically you've done it so well. You've been so creative in your thinking, and I'm being harsh on you because of that. There's no point me being a soft, cushy coach, is there? And I hope you don't mind, but I took liberties with your picture. Guys, what do you think? Because I could be wrong, and you are the new judges. I took the liberties of just removing that handle from Brian's shot. What do you think? When the shot, when the, you know, the handle isn't there, let's just flick back and forwards. Handle or no handle? I'm just intrigued. What do you think? Which one do you prefer? I just find the handle slightly distracting, Brian, that's all. Because otherwise you've got it beautiful. It's beautifully lit. You've got those wonderful bubbles. You've captured that moment so perfectly. And I think maybe just a touch more focal length, and just coming in a tiny bit closer, or a crop, which is all I did, I think just gives that beautiful light and that beautiful shot a little bit more strength. I forgot to say, guys, of course, at the beginning, I can't talk about all of your entries. There are far too many of them. As always, it kills me thinning things out, and that's why I'm going to let you do it this time. Yeah. But if you don't get a shout out, then please don't take it that you've necessarily done a bad picture. It's just trying to choose things, and I'm tried quite hard to mix it up a little bit more this time. So, where do we go? Next shot is from Dean. And I really like it. You've done a great job of capturing some movement there. It's so hard to do a good pan blur. I have been a photographer for many years, and I am still appalling at pan blurs. I get there in the end, but oh boy, do I have to do a lot. You always do. It's not one of those things you just set it up and do it. Although I have a student called Christina Simon who was with me in Myanmar, in Burma, on a workshop. She said, well, how do you do this? And we found somewhere, and I told her how to do it, and she just boom, did probably one of the best pan blurs I've ever seen in my life. First time she'd ever done one. If you're watching, Christina, you are not forgiven. Great shot, Dean. Really nicely done. I only wonder, would it work slightly better if we were a little bit, tiny bit tighter on the car? And I know it's so hard when you're panning, keeping things sort of straight and level. It's me, I find things a bit wonky. But other than that, it is such a cracking pan blur, so beautifully executed. Nice job, sir. This one I really kind of liked here. From, I think it's Deb. It is Deb Hadfield. I think it's got a lovely feeling to it. What do you feel when you look at this, guys? What do you get out of it? Okay, there isn't a blur in here, but you know, we've got someone going somewhere. The theme was on the move, you know, movement. How do you want to interpret on the move? How do you use your creativity to do this? Well, we've got someone on the move. And I don't know, yeah, exactly, tranquil, warmth. Really, really like it. I think you shot at precisely the decisive moment, capturing that cyclist right over that light path there, and the shadows coming towards. Really, really beautifully done, Deb. Top job. I've just seen it's your first entry. Oh, we better watch this, lady, guys and girls. I've just seen it's your first entry. Wow. Watch this space. Really well done. Deb, I hope you don't mind. I took a little bit of a liberty with your picture too, because my only thought was that space to the right of the tree, do we really need it? So I just had a little play and removed it. And I don't know what you all think, but I just feel it frames the cyclist better and just makes the cyclist stronger. I'll flick back so you can do a quick compare. So that's with that little gap, and then just kind of little tiny things like this I just think can add so much strength to a shot. And I know there's all that work going on. You're looking around, you're finding the cyclist. Maybe it's someone you know and you took them down and made them cycle up and down loads of times. That's cool. There's all those things to think about. It's really important at times to kind of forget the subject a little bit and think about the picture, the whole thing, everything that's going on. Because just, what, 5-6 millimeters of zoom or just a couple of paces forward, and we could have lost some of that space that we didn't necessarily need. But really great effort, Deb. If that's your first post, we're in for a treat, I think. Julia. What a lovely picture. It's a really great picture. I just love that movement blur in that, what are they? Seagulls? Gulls? Seagulls? Gulls? There's no such thing as a seagull, is there? Those ornithologists amongst you. There are only gulls, and many of them can be found near the sea. Excuse me. Need a swig of water. There's all that adrenaline when I thought the feed would go wrong. Stop it, Ian. Yeah, I think it's a great shot, a beautiful piece of motion captured. I can imagine you must have been there for quite a long time, experimenting with different shutter speeds, finding the one that works to make it perfect. And I'm being hard on you. If the other gulls sitting on the water were nice and sharp, then it would absolutely make it. But also I took a slight liberty with your shot, because I'm not entirely sure we need that very, very first gull. What do you think, guys? I've taken liberties with Julia's picture and removed that first gull. Just come in slightly closer. My thoughts are it's possibly just a tiny little bit stronger with the second shot. I don't know what you think. I'll flick again, just back and forth. Excuse me, with foreground gull and sans gull. But it's a great shot, Julia. Really well done. I can imagine you did spend a fair old bit of time experimenting to get that and find that shutter speed. Really nicely done. It's like an angel flying over the pond. It's really great. Jeff prefers the original. Steve can go stand in the corner. You know, again, we all have different opinions, and this is what kind of links into what I was saying a bit earlier about worrying what other people will think about your pictures. Because the only person that truly matters is you. There are many photographers, some quite big name photographers, whose, you know, their style isn't necessarily my style. I wouldn't go, wow, what an amazing picture, I can't wait to put that on my wall. And I'm not going to mention any names because, you know, some of them are quite big names. But nonetheless, they shoot what they shoot. And many people totally disagree with me. And that's cool. And it's the same for all of us, you, me, and everyone else. The original tells the story better. but cropped is stronger. Interesting thought, Oystein. Anyway, whatever, we all have our own opinions. A lot of you prefer the original, and that's cool. Lovely piece of use of colour here from Linda Windsor. Beautiful use of colour. Red and green, complementary or opposite colours, whatever it is you wish to call them, just work. Red and green just work. We got, let me just have a little look here. Yeah, we got a little bit of camera shake going on, I think, because I expect the shutter speed is just that little bit slow for you to hand hold because the trees are not quite sharp either. Maybe it was breezy, I could be wrong. You've got a lovely shutter speed on the girl in red, but I don't know, maybe if you're here, Linda, I'd love to know, were you shooting from a tripod? If you'd had it on a tripod, I think the trees might have been sharper and then that would make the girl stronger. Again, I had a little fiddle, but the fiddle I had was very subtle. Excuse me. It's not camera shake, it's ICM. Thank you, Jane. I had a little fiddle. It's a very subtle fiddle. You may have to watch closely to even see it, but I just increased the contrast and brightened it a tiny, tiny bit. Let's go back and forth. Can you see the difference between the two? Because personally, I just felt, in my opinion, a little bit more contrast just kind of gave it just a tiny bit more life. We're only talking a little tiny bit, whether you wanted to do that in post-production or not, I don't know. Hello, Linda. It's you in the picture and the camera was on a tripod. Cool. Good on you for doing it. I just love that. I just love that. So the camera was on a tripod. I wonder why we've got what looks like a little bit of camera shake going on. Oh, excuse me. It's another swig of water. I'm all nervous and full of adrenaline still from what I thought was going to be a disaster. Yeah. I'm just wondering why it maybe moved just a little bit. If your tripod's a little bit wobbly, that could be it. Even just the shutter moving, particularly on a DSLR, can sometimes cause a bit of vibration, particularly at those sorts of speeds, because that's not a super slow shutter speed, but it's slowish. Nonetheless, great use of colour, great use of light. Cracking job. Well done, Linda. Dean McLean. Again, very classical kind of use of movement on the Windmills. Technically, yeah, you've got your shutter speed bang on. You've got just the right of movement, because for things like this, if you have too much movement, the blades just disappear. You just want a little hint, just that little feeling. Ooh, it's moved a bit. So, you know, Dawn, I am so sorry. I do apologise. Again, it's just on that screen, I can see it a lot better than on this one. It's really tiny on this screen. But that one, it's a bit better, and there's a lag. Apologies, Dawn. Yeah. Great shutter speed. I kind of like your composition. I maybe a little bit more space around the images. The only thing that is letting it down for you is the light. The light is really a little bit dead, and I think maybe a different time of day. I quite like the colours, the blue on blue. It's not bad, but I don't know. I just feel it could do with a little bit more light coming in from a side or something like that. And I get it. Life gets in the way. The day that we've got the light, we're busy. But there we go. Okay, Linda just said maybe you left the stabilizer on. Depending on your camera, mate, having the image stabilization on when the camera's on a tripod can actually cause a blurred picture. It's different for different cameras. You need to do a bit of research online. What have we got here? I hope this is Martin and I haven't made the same kind of gender-based mistake that I did just now. It is Martin. Another one, Martin. I'd say you're pretty good. Your shutter speed, I think I've probably got these the wrong way around, because I think your original shot was this one. Apologies. Somehow I got those the wrong way around. Martin, I think this was your original shot, and I get it. You're kind of trying to bring, it feels like you're bringing a leading line in, but the leading line isn't necessarily taking us anywhere much. There's the two windmills on the left, but it sort of takes us through and away. Again, I would suggest we've got a little bit of a light problem. I like the moody sky, but I mean, to improve it, a bit of light coming under it. And again, I get it. I have it all the time making PLD videos and all this sort of stuff. You think, right, I think, okay, we need to go and shoot that tomorrow. The weather forecast's right. Joe comes over from Southampton. We go somewhere. By the time we got stuff out of the car, get all set up, we just start filming it. The light changes. Okay, pack it all away, go home. We'll have to try again another day. It is a pain, I get it, and life just gets in the way sometimes. But yes, exactly, Glyn. So what I was thinking, Martin, was just by maybe removing a little bit from the left side and just coming in a bit more on the windmills, I just think it might help your composition. It makes it a little bit stronger. But light really does make a huge amount of difference. I've actually got a shot of some windmills, very similar shot that I took for something when I was over on Lanzarote. I was actually found a new location for the workshop there. So this is a shot which I took and kind of found the shutter speed for the windmills. The light's okay, but it's not great. However, about 10-15 minutes later, when the sun came out from behind a little bit of that hazy cloud, and okay, it's late in the day, so the sun's kind of low, but when the sun did come out from behind a bit of that hazy cloud, look what a difference it makes. Enormous difference. Same kind of time of day, but it was just a case, in this case, of waiting till a little bit of that hazy cloud moved a bit, and suddenly the sun came across the ground. Look at the highlights it's putting on the ground. It's creating shadows and shapes, and it just kind of wakes the whole thing up a lot. Light is so important. And I know it's frustrating because we think, I've got the time, I'm going to go out and go and shoot something, but if the light isn't playing ball with us, the shot will probably be mediocre at best. Excuse me, I apologise, need to go and gargle or something. Who we got here? I can't read it. Me? Mel! Poor old fella. Sorry, Mel. I love your idea. Sorry, Nan. Yeah, Nan, that's 5 or 10 minutes wait. That's what that difference was. Nothing to do with the camera at all. It was just waiting. Mel, I love your idea. And if you were playing the notes in the right order, then that is awesome. I would say you have a slight exposure issue going on here. And maybe just a few too many hands happening. I took the liberty of playing with your photo too, and just kind of brightened it up and brought a bit more contrast into it. And I think it just brings it to life quite a lot. But again, I'm not quite sure we need quite so many hands. I think the sort of thing that could work very well with this sort of shot, give it a go. If you can, give it a go. Would be to have the hand still on the keyboard. If you think of a bit of music, if you play, I don't play, I had lessons and forgot it all, but something like, say, Furelise, you've just got, almost a 2-finger movement going on just for a moment on that da 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 before it goes da 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 da. If you could have the hand still and just the 2 fingers moving on the keys, I think it would probably make it much stronger. Sometimes less is more. But, nonetheless, it's great. Good seeing your comments coming in, guys, too. Thank you. And again, I love it. Just keep saying which you prefer if there is a difference, because it's so important. So many people, worry. And it's really important for people to see that everyone has a different idea and a different opinion. And once you can get your head around that, you won't beat yourself up as to whether your picture's good enough. Okay, you're all being very brave in submitting because you're putting them in front of me and I'm being your coach and we're very publicly looking at things. And, I really salute you for that. This is a hard thing for me to say here too, Malcolm, because you've done this so perfectly. You were in and out of my shout outs and all the rest of it list, and I just thought, I've just got to trim them down a bit. It's, for me, the only reason it didn't stay in there is it's technically great. I get the feeling, I get the movement, I can hear it. For me, it's just maybe just a hint clinical. It's just a hint clinical. I think maybe if they'd been, if it had been on a piano or near an instrument, or maybe had a little bit more environment, this feels a little bit like a product shot, by our metronome. It's great, and it's a great photo, beautifully executed, nice light, perfect choice of shutter speed. I get it, but I think if you want to bring a bit more creativity to it, it would have been interesting just to sort of maybe see if you could find another environment, a bit of backlighting or something, and brought it into it. It is a very graphic image, Bericlive. I quite like it. And I'm not saying it's a bad image. Please, please, please don't think that for one moment. It isn't. It's a very well executed image. You're used to hearing me say very similar things every week. And again, that's why I wanted you guys to be the judges. And I will look into having a completely different guest judge at some point in the future too. But great job, Malcolm. Beautifully executed. We've got the classic waterfall shot going on here from Joshua Rice. It's a nice one, Joshua, too. I really love that little pool of water. The pool of water. It's more than a pool of water, it's a river. I love that little pool of light you got on that log on the right-hand side. And the way you've kind of run it up through, really, really nicely done. There's just a couple of things in here that I just think would make a world of difference. You see that stick poking in on the left? Now, some of you may know that I have a very controversial picture on a YouTube video with a dock going out onto a lake and the water's blurred and moving a bit like this, and I've purposely left a couple of little twigs in there because I like the twigs, and so many people go, for goodness sake, get rid of those twigs. So what am I doing telling you to get rid of your twigs? I just think they're just a little bit overpowering. That's all. That's all. But it is good soft light. If you're going to shoot something like this, actually soft light is the best. If you have overcast light, if you can have, thin cloud, it's really good. Or if your waterfall is really, really well shaded, because otherwise what can happen is the highlights in the water will burn out. They overexpose so easily. But I think you've done a great job. It's a very, very candy flossy one. Great creative idea. Watch out for the stick. I know I'm going to get some flack for that one. Nice one, Joshua. Now we've got another bit of hot gull action going on here from Petro. Interesting. And now there's things about this I really, really love. There really is. But I've got a problem. Tell me what you think it is, guys. Sorry, Jane, they're not twigs. It was more of a stick, actually. But anyway, back to this gull action. There's so many things about this I love. What do you think is the thing which is just kind of slightly annoying? Exactly. The way the gull on the right has got his wingtips cut off. Now, I totally get it, Petro. You were probably sitting there watching these gulls and a moment appeared and it's like, oh, come on, let's get it. And you reacted and you did a great job. You really did a great job. Just to spot that shot in the first place, you did a great job. And I'm guessing you couldn't get further back or shorten the lens or whatever it may be and kind of crop that front gull. But what a wonderful creative idea. I just love it. The 1, 2, 3 and the 3 is a shadow. How cool is that? Keep it going. Keep it going. This is real creativity at work. Linda Fisher just said burst mode might have helped. It may have done. Yeah, it may have done. So hard, but so well spotted and so quickly. You had the speed with which you had to react. Just a shame those little tips are missing. Nice one, Petro. Ian just said that too. Thank you, Ian. Lovely, lovely bit of owl action going on here. There's lots of birds going on here, isn't there? Nice one, Darren. That really is a beautiful, beautiful moment that you've caught there. David, you can stop it too. Beautiful moment that you've just caught there. And it just goes to show how incredible wildlife is, at hiding. Because what's the purpose? What's the intention of the shot? If you want the owl to stand out more, and I get it, you can't. You're visiting on the day you're visiting, at the time you're visiting. And I'm being harsh on you. if you could have the light be coming behind the owl, so it's just caressing the wingtips, you'd have a lovely little halo-y rim light effect going on around those wings, which would have shown how well it disappears into the background, but at the same time separated the owl. You know, they're masters of hiding wildlife. It's a beautiful moment, really, really well captured. Me, being me, I'd love to see a little bit more space on those wingtips rather than being quite so cropped and it actually touching, but again, I don't know how it was when you shot it. You may not, you know. It's such hard work, isn't it? Because you're trying to follow the action, you're trying to keep the autofocus going, trying to shorten the focal length as the owl's coming towards you. I know, there's so much going on. It's just practice, 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 practice. That's all it is. But it's a lovely shot. Very well done. I'm sorry, I haven't put you any higher. Who have we got here? We have got Patsy Fairclough out for a walk with the doggo. And what a great location you are there, Patsy. There's just two things to me. I think it's a little bit overcooked, it's a little bit overexposed. Where that sky has really blown out, and I'm not sure, it looks to me like maybe you've tried to recover it a bit, I don't know. I think it's just a little bit overcooked. The other thing for me would be, if you could have just kind of gone, or something, and got Doggo to turn round, or thrown a stick and got Doggo to come running back up the track with the ears flapping, looking all excited, I think that would have been absolute magic, because it's a great spot, really nice place. And I'm sorry, I know I'm being harsh on everyone, but that's what coaches do. In fact, I'm going to stop apologising. I have no need. You came here for your own free will. Stephanie just said she got all three of her dogs to look over at the laptop. Oh, did I? Oh, that was whistling, was it? Okay, let's drive some dog owners mad. Come on, come on. What's this? Cats, cats. Anyway, right, I'll stop that. I grew up in a house full of dogs. My mum used to breed them. Sorry, Graham. Anyway, great shot, great place. I love the way you've kind of used that little curve. I think you might have been able to use it slightly better if we'd had dog running towards you along the track. But good effort, really good effort. Now, who have we got here? We got Jamie. Lovely milky kind of a sea. I'm not generally a big fan of the cotton candy blur too much. Kind of like hints of it. But again, it's just me. It's just me. My question here, Jamie, if you're here, I'd be really interested to know. It's a very, very serene. It's kind of beautiful. There's a couple of things I think which could help it. But my big question is, why is it so bright in the foreground? Question is, were you using a neutral density grad and maybe it had come down just a little bit too far over the horizon? I'm not sure what's going on here, or whether it was a pull down grad in Lightroom or something, because it's a lovely kind of peaceful place and you've got loads and loads of movement going on in the water. I'm just wondering if maybe the shutter speed was open just a little bit too long. Something else which I just wonder might have worked with this incredibly clean sort of background with this subject. I'm just wondering whether or not it would work if you put the subject right smack in the middle, because we have a very classical rule of thirds here. And we have quite a long talk about the rules of photography in the choreography of composition webinar. We have quite an in-depth look at rules and things like that. I'm just wondering, because this subject is so strong, whether if you made it fairly small and almost quite central, just slightly below the center, it might have given more feeling of where it is out in the ocean. I'm just having a look just in case you're here, because I'd love to know if you were using a grad, because I'm not sure if you needed a grad. Maybe an ND full cover filter would, that will give you that shutter speed, but I'm not sure about the grad. It's still a lovely picture. It's still beautifully done. I'm coaching you and giving you a push just to see. Yeah, I would agree with you. Where it's moved again? It's moved again. I can't keep up. Linda, it would lend itself to postbox editing, possibly. Something which, I don't know if you've seen it, there's some videos I did with a fashion photographer called Dave Kai Piper and his fiancée Steph a few years ago. And Dave does some really peculiar things with filters, but it works, and it would work very, very well on this. So he would have his filter holder and use two grads, one grad coming in at the top, but another coming up in the bottom. So you get this dark top and bottom letterbox effect. And I think that might work incredibly well with something like this. Dave's a nutcase though, because he actually curates scratches and dirt on his Lee filters because they add little spectral highlights to the pictures, and it's just a look he works with and likes. Very nice though, very nice. Choppy water made it bright. Okay, the sky's lighter between the legs. Okay, interested. Anyway, it's a shame it's made the water that kind of little bit too bright, I think, because it's kind of drawing away just a bit from the subject. Nice idea here from Graham. I get where you're going with this, and I like the way that you chose a very different interpretation of move. Moving on. I get it. I think we'd have got it. I think less is more, Graham. It's a really good attempt, but I think like the sold sign and the wheelbarrow full of stuff. I love the fact you're moving with a wheelbarrow. That's the sort of thing I'd do. But it is a really great idea. I'm wondering if there's a different way you could approach it, maybe a different angle to make it a little more noteworthy, a little bit more eye-catching. Possibly a wide-angle lens, a short wide-angle lens, you know, from down low. Maybe with a hint of the sign, but with the house in the background. I'm not quite sure. I don't know the environment. It's a really great idea, and I salute your creative thinking that you chose to interpret moving on as a moving house. Nice work. Good job. Sam. Great pan blur. As I say, I hate you people that do great pan blurs. I really do. I hate you guys who do great pan blurs. They're really hard to do as well, because as you have accurately done here, you need to have your subject in the place where there's not too much light, which is in the shadows, in order to get the exposure for them. Unfortunately, in this case, Sam, where you've got a very bright background, it's kind of blown it out. And I think if it had blown it out more, it might work, because you'd end up with a very high key background. But the big square area to the right is just a little bit much. Now, I don't know what's going on where you're standing, because you are standing in a darker area in shade looking to a bright area. Just can't help wondering what you had behind you, or whether it would work better if you were stood in the bright light shooting into the dark, so your cyclist is in the same place but you're doing it with a different background. It's just a thought, but you did definitely get that blur working well, better than I do usually. Now here we got a really interesting shot, and there's no question it's noteworthy, Simon. It draws your attention straight away, doesn't it? I love the way you've caught that movement in the waves, the way they're swirly whirly. I think it really is beautifully done. And you caught a moment with that cathedral lighting. My only thing here, Simon, and this is such a personal thing, is it looks just a little bit, for me, my taste, overdone. It looks like it's been a bit overdone in post-production, like it's been pushed a little too much. Maybe that was your intention. I don't mean the colour saturation. It just somehow has a feeling that it's just been pushed a bit too hard, maybe in the sky area. But it's a perfect, decisive moment. If you hear Simon, by all means, please pop up a comment and tell me to go blow it out my ass. It does look like a painting, Terry S. You are right. It is beautiful. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not saying it isn't. It's just a feeling that I am getting. That is all. So, nice job. I didn't see a comment from you, so I'm going to just move on to the next one a bit, because we've got another fantastic. Actually, that's a good idea. I've just seen June Bannister just said, I'd like to see more sky in this. What do you think, guys? Because I'm doing a lot of talking here. I like you to join in. What do you think? You know, what would you like to see? What are your thoughts? You know, am I just talking nonsense here? Well, of course I'm not talking nonsense. Do you disagree with me? Because you're totally at liberty to do that. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? I mean, it's a beautiful piece of sky. It really is. I can't help wondering if, because the sky's not quite sharp as well, so I'm just wondering if there's a little bit of camera shake in there. Nonetheless, it is still giving a great feeling. There's no question. When I saw it small initially, I just went, wow, look at that. It's giving me a real feeling of, you know, evening by the seaside. Yeah, I think I would agree. I'd like to see a bit more space, but that's just me. I'm trying not to. Linda says, I don't know, but I suspect there was too much cloud to gain anything from any more sky. Don't know, Linda. I think if there was all that dark and heavy cloud, it might have been quite nice to have a line of it coming through the picture to the bright area, sort of in one side and in one corner. Yeah, interesting comments, guys. Have a little look at what other people are saying, because again, we all have our own opinions. Landscape orientation would have given a bit more sky. Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe a little bit. Beautiful piece of sea going on there. Those were my thoughts anyway. Let's move on to the next one. Well, we've got one awesome decisive moment going on here. Nicely captured, Neil. It's just, I just love those little birdie feet sticking out, you know, coming into land. I really do think it's pretty amazing. My only problem is none of it's quite sharp. So hard to do, I know, and I'm being hard on you. The light is very difficult just there, and I'm guessing you put a lot of work into that, just kind of watching some behaviour from the birds and maybe knowing they're going to come in. Maybe you put some feed down. I don't know. Again, please comment if you're here, Neil. But it's a really great decisive moment. I'm not sure we need to see all the bucket. We don't need to. The bucket's kind of dominating the bird just a little bit. It's an ex-crow. Very good. Yeah, great moment though. Great moment. We've got another bit of action here. I kind of like this one, Beverly. In a way, I know I've just criticised someone and said you burnt out the background a bit, but I think this is kind of the look I was thinking. It was Sam, wasn't it? Beverly's kind of blown it out so much, it almost kind of works. And I love the fact that we've got another cyclist in that middle window. There's just something about it. Now, I don't know, Beverly, whether you did this on purpose, whether it was a happy accident, whether you tried to create that high key burnt out look, or whether it was just bright and you couldn't do anything else. Now, it's not quite sharp. It's not like we've really got pan blur going on. We've got a little bit of movement in the cyclist. But yeah, I'd agree with you, Ian. It's kind of unusual and it's noteworthy. I think if you could have got your composition very, very, very graphically accurate. You see how the three windows, we got a little bit of one window on the right and almost, then we got the two which are complete. I think if you could have positioned yourself so that you've got your frame, you know, with equal window, it doesn't have to be three whole windows by a long shot. I quite like that hint of window on the right. And maybe if you had a hint on the right and a hint on the left with the full window, but I love the way you've got the two cyclists going on in there. Good effort, really good, really good. Looks like the same cyclist. Maybe it is the same cyclist, it's just the exposure difference. I'm not sure. Not sure. What have we got going on in here? What's the time? Oh, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Another blur shot, which I kind of like. And I do like it. I think it's quite well executed. I don't know what you feel, guys, but I really do feel city. It's almost like, sorry, Christoph, I almost feel like, it's almost like a newspaper type thing. You know, I like the guy with the mask sitting there. and you know, the train on the move, the tram on the move. It's pretty cool. It's not bad. Yeah, I know the mask should go over the nose, but please let's not get into that discussion here at the moment. Angie just said it needs leveling, and that was what I was going to come to next. That's the only thing I was going to come to, because it looks like the tram is slowly ploughing and nose diving into the ground. But it's a really well captured pan blur, nicely done. Just needs a little bit of straightening, but good effort, Christoph. Good one. This one I find so intriguing. From here it is, our lovely friend Jane Barnes down there in New Zealand, who gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning to come and do this. That's real commitment. And I know you're here, Jane. I really like this shot, and at the same time I don't. And reading what you are commemorating, it kind of makes sense. So you're commemorating the earthquake, and I get it. You have very successfully kind of created a lot of confusion in the image, and you know, I see where you're going with the child's chair and the story that you're telling in there. Now this is a real tough one, Jane. I don't know. Is this something? Is this what's the word? A montage made in post production, or is this one? Is this a multiple in camera? Because you know, either way is pretty good. It is confusing. I get that, Jules Vids, but again, it's kind of like, I've never been in an earthquake, but I would imagine that's pretty confusing. The only thing is, the only bit that's missing, 2 images in post-production. Thank you, Jane. I'm just wondering if you could have made a little bit more of the chairs, just so one element stood out a bit stronger than the others, you know, because we'd still have the confusion. But if we had just sort of like one place to actually grab our attention, the pillars are very strong, but maybe the frailty of, you know, human life within an environment such as that could have been a little bit stronger with the chairs going on. But yeah, good effort. Really, really good. It does, yeah. Was it Ben just said it creates a lot of movement? Yeah, it does. You have so kind of got it pretty much, Jane, because it does create movement. I get it. It's an earthquake. I can feel that. But I think it'd be great as a photo if we just had one place to look a little bit stronger, maybe like the child's chair or something like that. James is saying she made the chairs more opaque because they were too strong. You see, this is the thing. There is no winning in photography. There just isn't, you know, for any of us. It's just how it is. What else have we got going on in here? We have got Chloe. It's Chloe. Chloe Sastry. There's things about this I really like. There's things about it I'm not sure about. The bright sky is difficult. I get it. But looks like you had a very bright overcast day, and that is why the sky is as bright as it is. I love your use of blue and yellow. The fact you spotted that, well spotted. I don't even mind the fact you've got a bit of tilty stuff. The horizon isn't quite level. In this sort of shot, I don't think... have you lost sound? A few people, I see someone said it. Just say yes if you've got sound or no. But I love those colours. I think blue and yellow just absolutely work beautifully. I don't mind the fact that it's a little bit wonky. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I always worry when someone says, I've got no sound. Thank you, guys. I love the colours. To me, the whole thing isn't quite sharp. And that is, to me, the slight bugbear, because, you know, we've got great colours. I quite like the way they're walking away. It's a shame the sky is so bright, because it is drawing attention away from the subject, but it's still nonetheless got a little bit of a feeling there somehow, in some way. Yeah, I want to salute you for spotting those colours. We've got a very interesting creative piece of work coming on here from our dancer. Adam Gaine. I love your thinking, Adam. I really do. I'm going to say there's something which doesn't quite work. I think it's the surroundings that you're in. I quite like where you're going with it. It is a very good idea. It's so difficult to achieve as well, to get that all to come together just right. You put a lot of work into that, and I salute you for that. I think that the forest, maybe that spot wasn't necessarily the best place to do it. I find the yellow railings are very, very disturbing, and maybe the trees, if possibly if you could have done it maybe with a slightly longer focal length lens and a shallower depth of field, so that maybe that forest disappeared a bit, I think that would have helped. Because, and I'm being hard on you because you put a lot of work into that, and I appreciate that completely. Yes, I was just about to come to that, Jamie. I think the kind of turquoisey green jumper with the turquoisey green forest didn't quite work. If you're going to have a forest, then, you know, with greens, maybe try a complementary colour. But it's a really, really great bit of effort. Really, really good. A lot of work went into that. Now it's funny, who was it just said, I'd like to have shown the legs not faded out. That's the thing, the legs with the dancer, they're going to move quite a lot. Now, one of the things when you do a static shot with someone walking through it is you get someone who's, you know, only got one leg. Kind of nice idea, Ashley, I get it. And it's very, very hard to get these right. You often have to do a lot of shots, or you end up with this kind of single leg, you know. It's like, you know, like an ostrich or an emu, you know, when they... No, it's a flamingo, isn't it? When they tuck one leg up, sort of half of them goes to sleep. It's a tough thing to get right. It's, if you can find that moment when both feet are just kind of on the ground, then it kind of holds together, but you still need a bit of movement. Nice try. I like the way you've attempted to use the doorway as a frame in a frame. It's a shame about the lady in the red, because she's kind of dominating everything. But I like it. I like the way you're going with it. I'm sorry it didn't quite work. I think watch out for things like the lady in red. Maybe find another doorway to give it a go. And you have to do this a lot. Funny enough, Moira Smith, I saw you here just now. We were in London doing our photo walk on Saturday. Moira actually was modelling for us, walking back and forth past an archway under a thing, and you know, the guys were experimenting with different shutter speeds. And I don't know about you, Moira, or anyone else who was there, I've got an awful lot of shots of people on one leg. I have got one that really, really worked, and it's in the Photo Alchemy webinar actually. But anyway, let's move on to our next shot. Another great piece of pony work here. I'm guessing this is your daughter, Dorothy, kind of cantering around on her pony. You've actually got a pretty good bit of blur going on there. It's always so hard when you see a pan blur and the subject is absolutely sharp. A bit like I can't remember who did it, the very first one that we had here. Who was it? It was Dean, wasn't it? It's so hard to get that combination of shutter speed, movement of the vehicle, and movement of your hand absolutely right, and have the subject perfectly sharp. For me, the thing here is, I think, a little bit more room around your daughter on a pony, but also at this precise moment in time, and again, I'm being harsh, pony looks, forgive me, pissed off because their ears are back. I'm being hard on you. I know I'm being hard on you. There's no point being gentle on you. And again, it's really hard work with animals and stuff. It's like, if you can get the ears forward, it just makes it feel a little bit more engaged. Probably just a little bit too much movement in it, but nonetheless, good effort at a very difficult technique. Something when photographing animals that's always worth trying is what I was doing earlier, making animal noises at them. I make animal noises all the time, so there we go. I like making animal noises. Diogo. It's another kind of nice one. For me, my only issue, you've got this nice calm little bit of stream, but my issue with you is those highlights on the other bank. They're drawing the attention. It's kind of taking it away from the simplicity of the sort of brown brackish water and the little bits of ripple. I think the place to have photographed this would have been more in the water. Yeah, I know, you'd have got your feet wet. There's many a time I've just sort of taken my shoes off, rolled up my trousers and just got on in there, if you're going to do it. I think looking more from the water along, or even just losing that bank, to me that's the thing which is drawing all the attention away. But, you know, again, well spotted, well thought of. You technically kind of got it just right. And as Nick Humphrey just said, you've got some very nice light on the water, but the light on the bank is, to me, overpowering it. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Is the bank kind of starting to take it away from what is going on the water? Because to me, the water on the light and on that rock is really, really nice. But I find the highlights are fighting with what the shot is about. I'll just wait a moment and let you pop in a couple of comments. We've got a couple coming in. Molly Matthews says, you like the like on the bank, gives it more depth, it balances, says Ken. A different shape, 16 by 9 might have been better. Yeah, some of you agree with me, some of you don't. You know, it's all, of course, totally subjective. Darken the highlights a bit in post-production. That might have helped. That might have helped, true. Good one, Linda. Let's move on to another one. Now we've also got here, I love this idea. I just think it's a great idea, Keith. There's, what do you feel when you look at this, guys? What feeling does it provoke? What sort of emotional thing? I like the way you put it together with that very rigid composition, and it certainly gives me a little feeling of, I don't know, longing, wanderlust, like I want to get on that boat and go somewhere. It's like I want to be there. Now I don't know, I'm guessing, is this one of the ghost ships off Bournemouth? Looks like it is, yes. I went on a little cruise around them fairly recently to go and have a close look. Yeah, the guy wishes he could be in that ship. I totally get it. Yearning to go, says Ian. Totally get it. Me too. My question, Keith, if you're here, again, we kind of got this very, very dark ship in the distance and the very, very bright foreground. Did you use an ND grad filter to maybe darken the sky a bit, but it's kind of come down too far, or is it something you did on purpose? Because I feel it's a bit overdone. If it was something you did in post-production, I'm just having a look to see if you're here. Keith, you are here. Where are you? I saw that. Grad filter. Okay. It's so hard to get a grad filter to line up in just the right place. I personally, looking at the light here, it doesn't look like it was a particularly contrasty day. I don't know if you shoot RAW, Keith, but if you were to shoot a RAW file, you can then put in the grad filter to the sky just to help pull it down a bit. But you can also make it go around the boat, which is so much easier. And then it kind of looks more, you know, natural. Because you've got great tones in the sky, but it's where it's bled onto the sea. Something which might help, depends on what camera you use. If you set a very small aperture when you put the grad filter in, and then if you have a depth of field preview on a DSLR, they're hard to use because you've got to put your eye into the viewfinder and wait until your eye gets used to the drop in light so you can actually see. But if you kind of use that depth field preview and slide that filter in, you can kind of see where the line of the gradation is much more clearly than when you don't use that. Similar sort of thing with a mirrorless. If you can do it with a you know, small aperture on a mirrorless, you can kind of see where the line is when you put it in. But I love the feeling you got into that shot. We've got another waterfall blur here from Ian Pritchard. Ian, I'm sorry, my friend. I kind of like it. I think you're just a little bit too tight. It's kind of sort of, to me, it's kind of saying, waterfall! I'd like to see a little bit more. Where is it? Where is it? What's going on around it? It also looks to me as though it's a bit overexposed, but you've kind of worked hard to try and bring it down because there's absolutely no detail in those highlights. Nice one, Ian. But pay attention to that exposure. This is what all my ultimate beginners course stuff is about, is the exposures. And if you've done it, forgive me, I don't know, so many people have. If it's something you're struggling with exposures and you've done it, then you need to go and practice it a lot more. We don't get this stuff done all in one go. Phillida just suggested it's a bit dark overall. Yeah, I would say it is. If you're here, Ian, I'd love to know, did you maybe try and darken it a bit more? Sorry, I'm laughing at Mr. Cunningham. He's being disruptive. Did you try and darken the whole thing quite a lot? Take the highlights way, way down to try and compensate for the burnt highlights? Because if they are completely gone in a situation like this, they are gone. I'm not adverse to a burnt highlight when kind of caught appropriately in the right place. I don't think I've seen anything from Ian, so yep. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this one confuses me, but it is a great shot. Gordon, you said here, I mean, it's a great picture, isn't it? There's no getting away from that. What fun. What a great shot. I do really like it. Reminds me of a very sarcastic thing that I heard in a comedy thing somewhere about the French being lazy. And that's why it's the only reason they eat snails. Oh, Jean-Claude, this one is getting away. And I like to tell my French friends that one quite a lot. I've got a few French friends. Anyway, it's a great idea. What's confusing me is you were saying here, where do you say a bit of intentional camera movement? And I've looked at this a lot and thought, how did you do intentional camera movement and keep the front of the snail so sharp? So I'm guessing either it's, which way is that blur going? The blur's going that way. So maybe you brought the camera that way and then held it really, really still to allow the front bit to go sharp. Oyston, ICM is intentional camera movement, as in you move the camera during an exposure on purpose. But, it's a great shot. I'm really intrigued how you achieved it. Because I'm not understanding why the snail's eyes and the little slats of wood haven't blurred too. Or is it a blend? Have you got an intentional camera movement and a still which you brought together? I'm kind of interested. Either way, it's an impressive picture. I'm just intrigued as to how you did it. I was hoping you'd be here. Yeah, Tori just said maybe it's post. Yeah, exactly. I mean, a bit of intention, because let's face it, a snail's small. You're only going to do a tiny bit of intentional movement. And it is indeed, Ahmed. You're only going to do a little tiny bit of intentional camera movement to get a snail to blur, aren't you? And then if you get a still shot, that could easily be kind of merged. It's a very powerful picture either way, and I think it's great fun. What do we got here? We have got a great bit of musician stuff going on here from Jim. And I like the angle. I kind of like the way you've done that. I like the lines coming, down through, leading us to the place we want to go. I think the problem is the place we want to go is, of course, the hand and the fingers, but there isn't much of them. Now, I like the fact you've been brave in placing your subject so close to the edge of the frame, not complaining. But I think there's just a couple of things. If you could have had that whole hand sharp apart from one finger and one string, so you've got one string vibrating and one finger doing the movement. Also, a little bit of light somehow, whether you could have used a window, played around with a curtain and got a little narrow sliver of light to lift up the hand, because you've set that up so carefully to get that so straight and to get that leading line in. It's a shame the hand's not quite sharp. I think if you could have braced your thumb on the guitar so your hand wouldn't move, and then strummed just, I'll do it that way, hang on, that way, strummed just one string, so it's just one string moving. That one vibrating string, I think, would pull us in if you could have found a little sliver of light from a window by playing around with curtains just to highlight where the hand is. I know it's a lot more work, but I think you'd have had a very, very powerful picture there. It is nice. Where are we? What's the time? Just gone 8 o'clock. Okay, we're going to try and finish on time at 8:30. We've got another pan going on here from Nori. Really hard to get pans, Nori. It's like, I think your shutter speed wasn't quite slow enough. And so what we've got is just a little bit too much blur. If you waited till the end of the day for the light levels to drop, it looks as though you did good on you. Something else which works well with pans is if you can do it without a sky. If you can find somewhere where there's buildings, a high background, something like that, just try it. Just, you know, because you need something to blur against, and the sky, generally speaking, doesn't do great for a pan blur. I think you needed a slower shutter speed or the car to be moving faster, so that it's finding that balance. It's so hard to find it, and it also changes according to what focal length, because you know, if you've got a long lens, you're kind of sweeping fast. If you've only got a little short lens, then you know it's not moving. It's like waving a broom handle about, isn't it? The same sort of amount of movement here magnifies into considerably more when you get off into the distance. It would definitely work better against some trees, Nick. You are correct. I think you needed a faster movement. Maybe the shutter speed's fine, but I think you needed the car going faster and you to move with it. Okay. Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves, especially you, Mr. Cunningham. Diane. Stop it. I should be looking in this one, shouldn't I? Stop it. But I knew someone would have to do that, so I just had to bring it in, didn't I? I like your ripples. I like your ripples. I do. I think you just put that there just to wind me up, though, didn't you? Anyway, I knew you'd enjoy a duck, guys. I knew you would enjoy a duck. Maybe we should have a duck challenge, because I do know how you like a duck. Okay, what do we got here? We have got now a different approach to the whole movement scenario, and I kind of like it, because you kind of, as opposed to panning and all the rest of it, you're kind of going the other way again, with trying to keep everything sharp and letting the things move around within it. Brooke, I think your problem here, I quite like your wavy leading line coming into it. I think your problem here is it's all just a little bit too bright. Now maybe that happened because you know you were trying to get the slow shutter speed, and of course what did that mean? It meant the shutter was open a bit too long, and it got you lot on ducks, will you just stop it? Yeah, the shutter speed was a bit too long, and it has resulted in an overexposed picture overall. It's just a little bit too bright. Also, we got that big empty expanse over there on the right side of the shot, which kind of needs something in it. I think if you could have waited a while for a boat to come up through that bit, so you had your bit of blur happening in that empty space, I think it would have worked a bit better. But I like the way you used that kind of wavy, distant line in there. Now we got something here which, there's things about this which I so like, and I'm being harsh on you. I'm being a really hard coach here, because there's no two ways about it. Ben, this is a really beautiful piece of light you've got going on here, and you have got yourself into absolutely the right place to pick up that highlight along the wall and on those doors. Just the right moment, just the right time. The way you've got those lines coming down through the shot is really nice. I love the ornate, you know, the lamp post just dangling there. I think it's really nice. Beautiful light, unquestionably. I love the way you got your verticals so nice and straight. You put time and effort into it. My only complaint is maybe just a hint more time, because it's just, to me, it's just those guys walking away, and we got a bit of a pole growing out of his shoulder. You can't always avoid that, but I don't know, I just feel it needed a little bit of something, a bit of interaction. There's somebody growing out of the guy on the left's arm. I don't know, if those guys were, I don't know, walking along holding hands or something, or coming the other way. I think it just needed a different bit of people action going on in the shot somewhere. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't have to be on that third there at all. It could be right smack in the middle. I love that manhole cover, you know, the drain cover. Somebody just stood on that, I think, could have been really good fun. Or if you managed to catch someone. It's so hard doing this. It's one of those you have to hang around for a while, and I get it, that light probably didn't last very long. But Ben, I think that's a really cool shot. I think that's a really cool shot. Okay, Ben, that Ben the Music Man, that's you, is it? Ben C the Music Man. Your missus was waiting for you to go and have dinner. I get it. I get it. I get it, mate. I get it. I get it. Yeah, but it's beautifully spotted. Great piece of thing, and it is so hard to go and do this sort of thing when you're trying to do something else at the same time. You know, other people not. Why would they know and why would they care? It's like, you know, no, I can't. I need to wait for someone else to show up. My dinner's getting cold. You need to do these things on your own. But well done for capturing that on your way to dinner. Okay, who we got here? We've got Philip Thompson. And I like your idea. We had a few light trail shots, and forgive me for not being able to include more of them. Light trails can work very, very well. But I find, for me, the problem is that we've got a lot of headlight action, or maybe it's street light action going on in the foreground. It's quite intriguing. I don't know, it's the wavy up and down lights. There's bits of this that work so well. I love the castle, and I love that little bit of kind of streaky white going on. I think it's that bright piece in the foreground. Now, I don't know how you shot this, Philip. I'm watching the things just in case you're here. I don't know how you shot it. If you did this as in post or something, in post, doesn't matter if it was a raw or not. I just think possibly if you could have just darkened that foreground. If you didn't want to do it in post and you happen to have a grad filter, you can always slide one in from the bottom and just take a little bit of light away from the road. But yeah, good effort. I love the castle. There's lots of things I like. I love that steam going on the left too. Where's that coming from? It looks like steam. Maybe it's an out of focus bit of tree in the foreground. I don't know. But it's pretty cool. Okay, so where are we now? We are coming to our shortlist shout-outs. These are you guys that cause me so much pain. Where I put everything into my kind of, these ones really caught my eye folder, and then I have to take a whole bunch of you out again. But I just want to give you guys a shout out because I think you've got some pretty amazing things. Now, I also, because of what we've just looked at, I just wanted to show you what I think is a very, very powerful light trails shot from someone who keeps nailing some very interesting shots, Mel Port. See how Mel's got onto a flyover bridge and then used the two different light trails to create a really strong dynamic thing. Look at all those lines he's got going on. You know, we've got the line of the handrail, we've got the lines of the traffic, we've got the lines all over the place. It's just like lines and lines and lines. But it just works. And also, I'm guessing, I don't know if you're here, Mel, because Mel is a light painter. He loves a bit of light painting. But yeah, I think it's a really great shot. I'm not sure. I can see you kind of did a bit of work though on the headlights coming up the road. I'm not sure. I can see you tried to darken those burnt headlight highlights. You can't really do anything about burnt headlight highlights. I think maybe you could have throttled back a little bit on that highlight reduction, but great shot, Mel. Once again, great shot. This one just kind of got me. Now, I don't have a parent gene bone in my body, Anne Young, but aren't kids just awesome? I totally get it, you know, this little person just kind of like on the move, you know how little kids, little babies, they just grab you, they lash out, don't they? And you just caught a great little moment there. It really is a lovely bit of shot. It's, to me, this is moving different levels as well, because we've got the movement of the child, but also I find it quite a moving picture, that this shiny new little person is kind of like intrigued and interested and reaching out, and you know, that's something which is just really great. Great eyes, great little moment, nicely done, Anne. Moving on to something completely different here from Harry, I think that says. Yeah, Harry Crossland. Absolutely. That is just really powerful. Harry, if you're here, I'd love to know, is that light painting? Did you kind of get that and do some light? I mean, maybe you wrote it in there. I haven't actually read. No, you didn't. I know you were saying it's a Marvel Comics thing. Forgive me, I'm living a cultural vacuum of one. I'm not quite sure who it was. It is such a powerful, powerful picture. Harry, I'd love to know, just, you know, I'm guessing you've light painted, but you've done it so well. Yeah, there's highlights burnt out in that light, but it doesn't matter. It's just very powerfully put together, beautifully lit. It's a great shot, Harry. Now here we have some bit of hardcore ICM coming in here from Wendy. And I love it. I really love it. This is so painterly. What do you feel when you look at this, guys? What does it remind you of? What does it make you want to do? I'm really intrigued, because, you know, this is all part of the whole photography thing, isn't it? You know, what does the shot provoke? What does it make you want to do? What does it make you feel? That's okay, my kind of stuff. And then it says it makes me relax. Impressionism, rain on windows. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point of view. It does look like a painting, Jeff. I would agree with you. Come on, guys. There's loads of you here. There's 237 of you watching right this minute. I'd love to know more of, what do you think? How does it make you feel? Especially if you haven't commented yet. Come on, let's kick this. Moira, yeah, it's soothing. What Captain Kirk sees as he beams down to the planet. Nice one, George. Turner. Yeah, okay, Vim, you don't like it. That's cool. And, you know, good on you for having the courage to say so. Wander barefoot through a forest. Yeah, okay. Well, Terry, that's exactly my thoughts. I kind of want to go and walk into it. It's springtime in a dream. That's kind of what I feel when I look at it. And, you know, this is all guff we make up in our heads. It isn't, you know. Vim, something very different happens for Vim when he looks at it. And Vim is 100% right, too. We all are. He doesn't like it. And that's cool. But me, I just kind of love it. It's so soft and gentle. Jane says, reminds me of Australian outback photos. I've only been I've been in Australia a few times, done a fair bit of bushwalking. There wasn't anything very green there apart from the gum trees. Everything was very, very dry, and I haven't been over for a while. I was in the Blue Mountains for quite a long time. Now, kind of going on this theme of verticals and kind of intentional camera movement, Pambler, this shot kind of I found really quite interesting, because I don't know whether it's intentional camera movement. I've no idea what you're up to here, Glyn. I think it was Glyn said he was going to his camera club meeting, which is a shame. And I couldn't spill the beans earlier. I could be wrong. Forgive me if I am, Glyn, if you're here. I'd love to know what you were doing. But it feels to me... Yeah, exactly, Jules. I've no idea what it is. It's your carpet. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it. It's your carpet. That's just fantastic. Is this? Are you intentionally moving here? What do you? I'm just intrigued, because I get a feeling of movement, and it's a very abstract sort of a picture of an image, but I just like the lines in it, and it's just kind of the way it's fairly sort of, like that. I just love to know. I put the camera on the tripod and then moved the tripod. Interesting. Nicely done. No, I think that's pretty cool. Nice one, Glyn. What else we got here in our shout outs? We have got Ian Scott. What a great little moment this is. It's just fascinating. Fascinating. It just makes me want to keep looking at it. Nice shot, Ian. It's a great little moment. It's a great piece of movement. I just think it's really great. I love that little bit of movement in his feet. Is there a skateboard we can't see somewhere? It provokes questions to me. It's like, I love the way you've shot it in black and white. I love, everything actually. I like the curves of the steps coming down. I love the lines of the handles, the railings going down, the position where he is over the window. I get it. You didn't kind of like arrange those things perfectly to put him there, but you caught a really great decisive moment. Yeah, parkour. It's just great. Yeah, David just said the lady in front has no idea he's there. I don't know. Does she know he's there? I don't know. It's a question, isn't it? She certainly gives the feeling that she doesn't know he's there. And in a moment, she's going to jump out of her skin and go, what? Really well executed. Great composition. Well put together. Great. Well done. Nicely captured in. I really, really like that shot. Cool stuff. If you're here, I'd just well, and we haven't got time. I'd love to know the story behind how you set that up and shot it. Then he's saying maybe it's a composite. I don't know. I looked long and hard, wondering myself at the beginning. I don't think it is. It's so hard to tell because if someone's good, but either way, composite or not, I think it's a really great shot. I think it's a really great shot. I don't think it is a composite, guys. A few of you have just said, yeah, it could be two shots. I don't think it is, but it's, I don't mind. When I look at it, I just love it. Just as I love this. This is such a creative idea. Such a creative idea from Stuart Anthony. I just love that. What a cool idea. What a great things to try. I'm always on it, you guys. Try stuff out. Experiment. See what happens. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if you noticed what he did, but I just think it is indeed, Tory Hunter, bloody brilliant. It's great. Happy accident? Maybe, maybe not. It's like, it's that childish, let's see what happens. Let's put my phone on pano mode and follow a bird flapping through the air and see what happens. And boom, look at this. It is just such a great idea. It really is. And it's just the shape you've got. It's just, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Just playing with different things. That's just your phone on pano mode and you can come up with something really interesting. It's kind of like, I want to give this a go myself. A roller coaster in the sky, says Marley. I couldn't agree more. Awesome. Awesome. Again, look at this one. There's so many in your shout outs this week. Oh, Dan. It's just like, again, there's just something about this I like. Now, I think what really got me is initially I didn't see the ghost. I saw the light on the end of the newel post at the bottom of the stairs there. I love that little piece of light. And it was only then afterwards I noticed your little ghosts coming down the stairs. You put a lot of work into that. I did read what you said about running wires and stuff like this. I just do think it's a great example of something so simple that you can do in your home. A few of you guys, I had a lovely email, by the way, from someone today saying, yeah, I've been a bit concerned because there haven't been quite so many participants in PLD lately. And I had a lovely email from someone just saying, yeah, I haven't been joining in because I've been kind of busy and stuff going on. And just saying he gets tons of value out of just watching and listening to what other people do. This guy's someone who is one of our patrons, by the way, even though he's not actually participating at the moment. But I do think, just looking at that, it's very clever. It's very carefully done. You put a pile of work into it, Dan. Really creative. Nice one. This just makes me smile, and I hope it makes some of you smile too. I think it's a great shot, Stephanie. Really, really happy little moment. It's just fun, isn't it? It's just fun. What more can I say? It makes me smile. You caught a great little moment of movement, you know? We don't have to have movement blur to know that it's moving. There's no question. All those little bits flying off that stick or old piece of, it's a bit of sailing rope, isn't it? Shipping rope, anchor rope or something. All those bits flying into the air. It's just like, it's giving that wonderful sense of movement without having any movement in it. It's just cracking. Nice job, Stephanie. I really, really love it. What do we got here? Another home shot. What I was going to say about people, you guys who maybe has been saying, you know, you're in lockdown situations again. I'm sorry, I'm going off at tangents. Was about, oh, I can't really go out at the moment and I'm isolating or whatever. Don't forget how PLD began. It was all in your own home. You don't have to go out into the world to do this, by the way. And here is another great example of this from Neil, you know. I just think it's a really great little shot. You know, the sort of thing you could do in your home. You've got some very nice soft light and just gently somehow backlighting those translucent chess pieces. And it looks really great. Just the right amount of movement combined with just the right shutter speed to get that bit of blur. And having everything nice and sharp with a bit of movement inside it, it's really nice. Very carefully put together. Look where the lines are in the bottom corners of the shot, how they are absolutely in the corners and coming away. And it's that juxtaposition between the regularity, the graphic nature of the chessboard, and then that little human movement going on in the middle of it. I think it's a really nice shot. And again, guys, those of you who are going, oh, I can't get out and about again, do it at home. Do it at home. Do you know what? I actually found it much easier doing it in the home environment than doing it out and about in the world. This, I think, is a lovely, lovely piece of shot, piece of shit. Stop it. Piece of work. I think it's a fabulous piece of work. I just love the lines. I love, you know, it's light. I like bits of life, don't I? That's why you guys are going to be the guest judges. Yeah, I got my words wrong, Jules. That's why you're going to be the guest judges, because I know I often go for sort of things like this, and that's why it'd be nice to mix it up and let you guys have a go at this. I just love the line of the wall, the guy looking at his phone, the movement of the traffic and the people. Cracking shot, cracking shot. Where are you, Cheyenne? Are you here? Where are you? Because, you know, the buildings are so intriguing as well. Great shot. I'm just having a look. Oh, Jules Vids, is that you? Are you Cheyenne? It's you. Aha. Great shot. Love it. Really nicely done. Where are you, Jules? Where are you, Cheyenne? Jules or Cheyenne, whoever, whichever alter ego it is. I'm just intrigued by it. I think it's a great shot. I'm going to have to move on. So, where are we now? We are a bit of street photography, and I really like it. I truly like it. It is something about this. It's a great use of a window and reflections. Which side is the reflection and which side is not? I just think it's great. And you know, I really get it. This guy's kind of wandering up the street. It took me a while to figure out which side was the reflection and which side wasn't, but it's such a nice shot. It's so well put together. Black and white, to me, just kind of works on it. What more can I say, really? It's a really nice shot, Monica. Well captured, well executed. It's a great little moment, just catching this guy just kind of wandering along. Beautifully done. Another beautifully little caught moment. This is really creatively done, Ken. I have to give you a little shout out here. So simple. So simple. No, I just think simple usually just works. Yellow against blue. We've got that spinny ball spinning water off. We've seen a few spinny balls. Are they your spinny balls, Ken? Is it you who's spinning your balls for PLD? I love the droplets of water flying off. And I love that bit of lens flare coming in from the side. I just love that bit of lens flare, that light. It's what do you think, guys? Tennis ball using engineering. Interesting. What do you think, guys? I don't know. I feel like a kid looking at that. I just feel like a kid. I think it's great. I feel like a kid in summer. I know I make up a lot of guff in my head, and I have never done LSD in my life, which is weird, isn't it? But I haven't. It's like, I just feel like a kid in summer, somehow. And I think it's that beautiful bit of lens flare that is doing it. It's the light. The light is coming, sort of backlighting through those flowers, and it's backlighting the water, and it just works for me. Great fun. Totally different sort of an image about moving and really taking the moving on theme, and it's kind of a sad image, but it's so simple. It's another great example of what you could do at home. You know, Bob, I don't know what it's so simple, and yet it's very powerful. It's so simple, yet it's so powerful, and it's quite moving. But it's not quite, it's very moving. I like your light. It's hard enough for it to be strong, but it's not so hard that it overpowers. The little kind of marks on the paper, it is really emotive, and a very different spin on the whole moving on theme. Very, very creatively done. Top job. Here's somewhere I just want to go. I just love this. I just love it. Aniban. I just love it. I think your blues are maybe a bit overpowering, but nonetheless, I still love it. It's just the right amount of movement, and it's just the right amount of busyness. I just love it, because you've got the street kind of running off into the distance, and it's got those little hints of movement going off into the distance. I love to photograph in places like this. I just think it makes such powerful, powerful pictures. Colourful, movement, just the right amount of movement, and I want to move through it. That was the feeling I got. I want to move through it. But that's me. I just love crazy places like this. I just think they're such great fun. And yeah, I just want to go there. I've never travelled in India. It's somewhere that I truly want to go. Here we have a really powerful piece of movement going on. Hardcore movement, Matthew Browne. Very hardcore movement. And I like it. It's you know, it's a great idea the way you did this. Sorry, Beverly just said you captured the Indian feeling, and yeah, I think that's what I loved. So yeah, we've got this fabulous piece of movement going on through here, Matthew. I'm not sure how you shot it. I'm not sure what you shot it on. Maybe it's a phone shot. I don't know. It's quite kind of jaggedy around the edges, which I guess is it might be a phone, but nonetheless, you're in here because I just love the lines, the shape. You've got such a sense. That bicycle's going fast. That's what I feel. I almost kind of feel like I want to put the brakes on a bit. What do you guys think? It just feels like the brakes need to go on a bit. It's like, whoa, 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 slow down. I don't want to just come flying out the end of that alleyway. I don't know what's going to happen. It's really great. It really is. If you're here, Matthew, I'd just love to know what you actually shot it on. But either way. Okay, a D7000 strapped to the bike. That's cool. That's dedication. That's really interesting. I wonder how you were triggering it. But nonetheless, I don't want to go off and spend everyone's time discussing that stuff because we need to move on a long way. Great job. Nicely done. Really nicely done. I am going to have to speed up, guys, because we've got to put the next video out soon, and I happen to know that you are going to be sent an email very, very soon, so I need to move on. Interval timer, good way of doing it, Matthew. I just love this one, Jane. There's a connection between the guy on the, you know, the little scooter thing and the guy running. It's the way that guy's looking at him. The way you have got that so absolutely right with the, you know, the exposure, the light, and all the rest of it. I mean, we've seen your stuff quite a bit, Jane. You know how to control your camera. There's no question. I think it's a great little decisive moment. Well caught. I just think it's a great shot. I can't say any more than that, really. Another on a very similar vein coming in here as well, which I think is absolutely stunning. I love a bit of street photography. Yeah, I know. Alan, is that Alan? I'm sure it is. Alan Baxter, yeah. I just get such a feeling of freedom out of this one. Really do. Great capture. I read about how you done it. Your first attempt at action street photography. Well, you did it pretty well, my friend. What fun. What fun. You got a great sky and all the rest of it, and you've got a great empty space. The girl's not lost. Her joy and fun and freedom is just whistling out of that. I just really like it. You know, I just like it. There's nothing more I can say. I think it is a great shot. I feel like I'm looking away from you guys a lot because I keep looking at the other monitor, but there we go. I think it's a great shot. Here's one which intrigued the hell out of me, and I'd love to know more. Sharon is, how can you not just want to look at this and go, what the hell is going on? Beautifully done. Is it a reflection? Is it a composite? If you're here, I'd love to know, Sharon. I'd love to know. But to me, I just think that's one of the best silhouette shots I've seen in a long time. Really, really get it. I think it's a beautiful picture. The positioning, you know, of the three and the one, and the regularity of those lines. I think it's a cracking shot. It was so, oh, you're in and out of that runners up and winners folder like a rocket. If you're here, I'd love to just know if it's a composite. I don't care if it's a composite. I think it's a great shot. I think it's a great shot. Let's move on because we got another. I know this one has had post on it, but I don't care. It's just so strong and powerful. Becca, it's Becca. Yes, it is Becca Smith. It's just, you know, it's an album cover, isn't it? It's just really, really strong. What can I say? Yeah, okay, it's a composite, but you know, you took the pictures of your friend. You've got the lights, you've got the movement, the way you put it together. That hint of movement, is that a flash blur? Is that a slow sync flash? I don't know. Becca, if you're here, I'd love to know. Is that? I think you've got a slow sync flash, which has kind of got that gorgeous bit of movement blur around the frozen arms. It is such a great picture. Beautifully done. Well done, indeed. This is taking us now into our runners-up for the moving on challenge. Without further ado, we've got a very classic and very delicately beautiful shot here. By Karthik. It's just, I just love it. I love that little flutter of movement in the bird's wings. Is this, if you're here, I'd love to know, is this your hand? A friend's hand? It's just perfectly done. It's just perfectly done. It's a very classical sort of a shot, and it's just beautifully done. Look at the light. The light is just gently backlighting the hand, which is giving that real nice shape to the edge of the fingers. It's just giving shape to the seed that the little bird has come to eat. Soft, gentle backlighting. Perfect shutter speed to capture that tiny, tiny flutter in those little tiny wings. A long lens to kind of exclude stuff around the sides, and a really shallow depth of field, because that's great. With a long lens, you can get up close without, you know, you can get right inside the infinity point. You can really do a great job. I just think it's a beautiful picture. Fantastic. I'm so glad you're here. It took quite a while to freeze the moment. Yeah, I bet it did. To get it like that, I think you must have done a lot of attempts. Really good job, Karthik. I love it. Cracking job. Moving on to our next runner-up. Runners-up, you've got places on webinars. And of course, we've got a few more of them now. So, you know, drop a line, please drop a line on the messaging or using the contact page. Emma will sort it out and sort something out for you. So who we got here? We've got Phil. What a lovely, just pretty, peaceful, gentle thing. I just see this on a wall somewhere. Love it, Phil Saunders Hall. I'm intrigued. If you're here, I'm intrigued. I want to know what that trail is. I just want to know what that trail is. Karthik, don't forget you've got a place on a webinar too. All you guys in this section, you got places on webinars. Don't forget. I want to know what that little trail is. Is it a light trail? Is it... I'm just fascinated by it. Is it the feather floating down, causing that little blur with a little puff of flash put in there or something? I just don't know, Phil. I would love to know how you did it, but either way, I think it's really, really nicely and beautifully done. And I don't know if you can see, it's going to depend on your monitor on your screens. Can you see in the background? That's not a full black background. There's just a hint of brickwork going on there. And it's just enough. It's like, it doesn't over, it's there. You can only just see it. I don't know if you can see it or not. Depends on your monitor. I think it's a fab shot. Beautifully done, as I do this one. This is the total opposite. This is a hard shot. And I think it's great by Anton. Anton, Stefan, or Stephen. What a great shot. Oh, it's hard. This is hard. It's got hard corners and hard angles and hard light. You got perfect framing going on, you know, with your cyclist sitting in that incredible reflection. That pool of square light that must be bouncing off the windows, I guess, from, you know, the other side of the street. Great use of light. Fantastic use of light. It is just really, really great use of light and shade. What more can I say? I totally get it. I could look at this for a long time as another one I can just see as a poster. I just think it's a great shot. Congratulations, Anton. We have another totally different type of a feel here from Steve Swain. This I just love. It puts me in mind of, you know, other shots we've seen on here. I just really, really love it, Steve. It's so simple. I just love that sugar cascading and just bouncing off the strawberry and fanning out. Really, really nicely done. Beautiful, gentle light, perfect exposure. It's kind of like, okay, I've just seen what you wrote. One of those easy but difficult shots. I totally get it. You must have done it so often. But what a great shot. Beautifully done, Steve. Nicely combined. I kind of like the narrow shape. I'm not sure about your white pin line, but I do like the narrow shape. And maybe you guess, yeah, you had to kind of do it because of Facebook to separate it. I love the way you position the strawberry, where you've got the sugar coming in from, and the way you got it leaving. It's great. I just love this too. How can you not take notice of this one? Travis, I just think it's a great shot. I just love it. Is that your leg, Travis? If you're here, I'm just intrigued to know. But you know, it really does. It captures moving on, and it's eye-catching. Whether you like it or not, it's eye-catching, isn't it? It's a different point of view. It's a different look. You've got just the right movement shooting down. I'm guessing it's your own leg. Brilliant. Emma said, are you a hobbit? Because you've got a good hairy leg. I just think it's a wonderful shot. I think it's so intriguing to have this one leg and the light. Guys, look at the light. Those of you that are struggling and thinking about, like, look at the light on Travis's foot there. It is kind of coming in slightly from in front, but slightly to the side. You see how it's a very gentle light. It's putting soft little ripples of texture. Those ripples are shadows, very soft shadows around the tendons in his foot. And that is what is making it so strong. It's doing the same up his hairy leg. Really hard to find the shutter speed that works with that movement. It's such an intriguing shot. It's also simple because it's all pretty much one color. Look, how many colors are in there? It's simple and effective. Simple is often the best way to go. Congratulations, Travis. I really, really like it. Which takes us on to this week's PLD Move winner. Who is our winner? I just kept coming back to this over and over again, and I just had to. Angie Larkin-Turner. Congratulations. I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. I love you capturing a decisive moment. I love the fun that is coming out of that picture. There's so many things that had to come together for that to work. You've got the light coming in from in front. It's bright and it's happy. I love the fact that it's bright and it's happy. You know, you've got the wave on the retreat coming down the sand, so you get the bright bit, because had she jumped when there wasn't that wet sand there, it just wouldn't have worked. There'd be no reflection. I really love this shot. I love the space you've given. It's made our little girl just look so small. Time is always on the move. Freezing a moment of a child enjoying summer, and you didn't even need to write that. You just didn't need to write it. It just oozes out of that picture. I think it is absolutely brilliant. Yes, Janet Cooper, and she's in the middle. Yeah. But again, you know, for some, you know, when you're learning these things, it's so easy. We want rules, we want guides, we want to know if you do this, that happens. We want certainty in life. That's a very, very human thing. We all are afraid of the unknown, which, when you think about it, is totally ridiculous, because we don't know what it is, yet we're afraid of something and we don't actually know what it is. That's very, very strange, but us human beings do it. And yeah, so that's where the rules of composition come in. But don't be afraid to do crazy stuff. You know, you shouldn't put things in the middle. That's what they say. Well, I think you've absolutely rocked it. Thank you, Angie. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for being here. It has, as always, been a total pleasure and a joy to come and talk to you. And, you know, thank you all for coming here. As I said, please do not forget that you are the guest judges in the next challenge. I will probably repeat it quite a lot because I know a lot of people miss it. Please pass the word around others in the PLD group. If you're just watching this, you've stumbled across it and you think you'd like to come and find out, there is a link in the description below. Just click on that link. It will take you to a page on my website, explain all about it, tell you how to get there. Come meet these fabulous people in the group. Absolutely brilliant. So what can I say? I look forward to seeing who you choose as a winner in the next challenge. I look forward to seeing what you come up with in the next challenge. As usual, I've done sort of 3 different ways you might be able to interpret it, and I've kind of done this video a bit differently. Intrigued to know what you think of it. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great evening, a great day, a great morning, wherever you may be in the world. Again, it's my pleasure and privilege. Be well. Speak to you soon. You can hear me grunting, can't you? I'm trying to shut down my software.